Welcome to the Jolly Roger. My name's Chef Brian, and today we are going to be making marinara sauce, and we're going to can it. So, let's go ahead and get our pan preheating. I kind of already did a little bit just to get a good jump start on the video. We're gonna drop a little olive oil, and then I'm gonna put in we have 2 onions. We're doing a double batch because we ran out of marinara sauce, and a double batch gives us 7 quarts, and that fits perfectly in my canner. So we're gonna saute these for a little bit just to get them softened up, and then we're gonna add in our tomato paste. After our tomato paste, we'll add in our garlic and then our tomatoes. I have these San Marzano tomatoes. These are the best canned tomatoes. The ones from Italy are the best, but they also have one that comes from California that has the same strain of tomatoes. Those are good too. But those are the ones I recommend. They're already skinned and they're left whole, and we're gonna use an immersion blender to put everything, blend it up, and give it a nice smooth texture. So we're gonna saute these onions, and I'll see you in a second. Our onions, they're about halfway done now, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in our tomato paste. We're gonna caramelize this. It gives it a little bit more of a deeper flavor of your marinara. I have 3 cans, but all the ingredients are gonna be listed below. I'm gonna post in the description box on one serving of this, and that way you don't have to do any math. And we'll caramelize all of this, give it a good stir. Now this is just gonna take a couple of minutes to get caramelized, and then we'll add in our garlic. And once that becomes fragrant, we're gonna add in our tomatoes. It's time to add in our garlic. So we're gonna put all of this in there, and then remember, this is gonna take about 30-45 seconds to become fragrant. And then we're gonna put in a cup of red wine. I'm using cooking wine that I got from the grocery store because I didn't have red wine open. But if you have one that's open, I prefer to use one that I like to drink. So a Cabernet, a Merlot, Pinot, they would all go really well at this point. Once I smell that garlic, we're gonna dump that in, and we're gonna deglaze the bottom of this pan just so nothing burns. But we wanna keep everything moving just for now, just so we don't over caramelize our tomato paste. And there it is, I can smell the garlic. Whole cup of wine. And then we're gonna scrape the bottom of our pan. And pull up anything that's in there. And then we can add in our tomatoes. And I hope I do not get tomato juice all over me. We're gonna go slow. Yeah. This isn't gonna be pretty. All the tomatoes. There we go. I'll get the rest of that in a second. But we're gonna scrape the bottom of the pot just so everything comes up. And then we're gonna add in our seasoning. And our seasoning is, we have Italian herb, we have basil, we have oregano, we have salt, we have pepper, and like I said, the measurements will be in the description below. And parsley, that's the other one. So we're gonna put that in, give it a stir. I'm gonna turn it down to low. And if you are not going to pressure can your marinara sauce, then you're gonna wanna simmer this for about half an hour. But since we're pressure canning, it's gonna be cooking in the canner itself. And we're gonna pressure can for 25 minutes. So that's gonna be where this ultimately gets cooked. But once we get everything mixed, we're going to blend it up. I have an immersion blender. If you have just a blender, you definitely can use that instead. But the immersion blender makes it a little bit easier. Scrape our bottom, our sides. So I'm gonna give this just a couple of minutes to come together, and then we'll blend it up. I'm gonna use the immersion blender to blend this up, but this can get loud, so depending on audio, I might have to listen to music and do it. But we're just gonna break up all those tomatoes. We're just gonna make sure that I got all the tomatoes and I'm not feeling any resistance. I'm gonna blend just a little bit more. That is ready. I'm gonna get some jars and then we will go into the canning process. I got my jars, they're clean, they're sterilized, but we got our marinara sauce. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ladle in our sauce and I'm gonna leave a 1-inch headspace, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like in just a second. Try not to spill it everywhere. These funnels are perfect for this. I mean, that's what they're made for, is filling jars. And it also keeps the edge clean. So when we go to put on our ring, it doesn't get any debris in between the seal and the jar itself. Just a touch more. Perfect. So, swap jars. That is a 1-inch headspace. Right where that bottom ring is, that's 1 inch to the threads. Now, I'm gonna get a little bit of vinegar and a paper towel and we'll wipe off the edge when I go to put on the seal. But I'm gonna fill these jars and I'll bring it back when I wipe the edge. So I got all of our marinara fit perfectly in 7 jars. But we're gonna do what's called debubbling. There's little bubbles right here. I'm gonna zoom in, let you see that. But we need to get those out. So we're gonna take our little debubbling tool and just go around the entire jar and it'll pop those bubbles as we do it. Same to every one of these. And normally I use water to wipe my rims down, but the proper way is to use vinegar. So I did get a paper towel with some vinegar, but we're gonna clean the rims off before we go ahead and put our seals on. And my canner has about 2 inches of water. I'll show you exactly what it looks like here in just a second. But I have a burner that's on really low just to keep that water warm, because our sauce is a little warm and we don't want our glass to bust open. So I have our little vinegar right here. We're just gonna wipe the rim just to make sure we don't have any debris and anything that can prevent our seal from actually adhering to it in the canning process. Like this one, I got a little bit, as you can see that. We don't need that, so I'm gonna get some more vinegar. We don't need a lot, just a dab. A dab will do you. There's a dent in the seal, so I'm gonna not even use it. But this rubber is, when it gets heated up, it's gonna become really tacky. And we want a good seal. See if they're all like that. This one's good. This one doesn't have a dent on it. So, sweet, thank you. We're just gonna put the seal down, and this is very important. We're only gonna tighten it finger tight. You don't wanna wrench it down on this because it's gonna be a real pain to get it off. But that is our marinara. That one's gonna go in. I'm gonna get these over to the canner and I'll pull y'all closer so y'all can see everything. So let me get that set up. As you can see, my water level, I got about 1.5 inches of water, and I may adjust the level of that, but we're gonna go ahead, put in our jars. We want our water level to be at least halfway up our jars, in between 1/2 and 3/4. And we're going to put all 7 jars in, and we're already above halfway, so we are good to go. That looks fine to me. Might take a little bit of it out. Matter of fact, I will. Good thing you don't have to wash it though, because it's just water. All right, so this is about the size, where your water level you want. So it's about 3/4 of the way up. Now I need to grab my lid, and this is important. We're gonna oil this bevel right here, and that's gonna seal. When this gets warm, it expands, and that's what causes it to seal. but we need a good lubrication so no air can get through. And you can use any oil for this. I'm just using regular olive oil. And we're just gonna take my finger, go all the way around this bevel. So now our bevel is level. Now I have a notch right here, and that is gonna line up with an arrow right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go just to the right of it, just like that. And then this arrow and this notch line up, just like that. And now we're gonna use opposite toggles, tighten this down. We're gonna tighten this pretty good. This all tightened. I'm gonna turn our temperature control to high, and it's gonna bring up the temp. Double check all this, and we're gonna turn to high. Now, once we start hearing hissing out of this vent, that is when I'm gonna start a 10-minute timer. This is important. You want to hear hissing out of here for a good 10 minutes before we put in our weight. For elevation, we have 10 PSI, we have 5 PSI, and 15 PSI. That depends on your elevation of where you're at. Here, we are 300 feet above sea level, so we are at a 10 PSI. And then we could put on our weight, but right now, we're just waiting. As soon as we hear a good amount of hissing come out of this, we'll start our 10-minute timer. So now we've got a good hiss going. I'm gonna go ahead and start my 10-minute timer. And once that 10 minutes is over, that tells me I can go ahead and put on my weight. Okay, my 10-minute timer just ended. So we're gonna put our weight on. Now we need to wait until this weight starts jiggling. And once it starts jiggling, I can turn my burner down from high to 6, because this burner lets it go to 6 and it'll rattle every once in a while, and then we can hit our 25-minute timer. Yours might be a little different. It might be a little bit higher than our 6 because our gauge goes from 1 to 9. My dial is set, it's at 10 PSI. My rattle is going. So I'm gonna turn my burner down to 6, and we're gonna start the 25-minute timer. And then when the 25 minutes is over, all you do is you turn the burner off and just walk away. But from now on, we need to stay here and listen to this go for 25 minutes, just to make sure nothing's bad's gonna happen. But when the 25 minutes is over, I'm gonna turn the dial off, and we're gonna do a natural release. And then when this pressure comes down to 0, I can go ahead and remove the weight, and I'll bring you back when we pull the marinara out. My needle is dropped down to 0. You're gonna wanna wear gloves for this because this weight is ripping hot. So we're gonna take it off just like we put it on, opposite toggles. And then when you go to lift, you gotta twist, and then I'm gonna pull the back end up this way so I don't fog the lens up, but it's gonna be a lot of steam. Just like that. And then we'll move this over. And there's our marinara. So I'm gonna grab the ball jar grabber. Kind of drip some of that water off. And then we're gonna set it on a towel off to the side, just like that. And do this with all of them, and then they're gonna sit on the counter overnight. The ambient air is gonna help make these lids seal, because they're not sealed right now, but they will be. And that's it. I'll see you tomorrow and show you that they're sealed, and we'll date and label them, and we'll end the video. The next day, we took the rings off. You're gonna wanna wash the outside of these jars. We had 6 that sealed up good. We had 1 that did not, and if you hear that means it's no good. So there's 2 options you can do with this. Either you can pressure can, or you just use it. So what we're gonna do is put this in the fridge, and then within the next week, we're gonna be using this and for, I don't know, mozzarella sticks, garlic bread, chicken Parmesan, something. We'll figure something out. Another thing I did not mention is when you buy a canner like this, they come with these shelves, and it's gonna go on the bottom, and when you fill it up with water, you want these to rest on this, and you can't have your burner directly in contact with your jars. If that happens, then they can explode, and that's no good. So I hope you like it, and I hope you give canning a try. It's been pretty cool. We've been doing it for about 4 years now, and we've saved a lot of money doing it, and it's nice and healthy. You can always just run in and grab a jar and you know what's in it. You know, same thing with everything. So hope you comment, like, subscribe, share, you know, what other YouTubers ask you to do. If you could do that, that'd be great. And leave a comment below on what you would like us to cook, and we'll do a drawing at the end of the month, and we'll see you next time. Peace.